Last year, I took multiple trips that should have cost me around $4,500. Instead, I only need to pay a little over half of that using my credit card points. Today, I'll break down exactly how much each trip should have cost, how many points I used instead, and the two main methods I used to make this all possible. If you're new here, I'm Oliver from Twin Finances, and every year I track every single flight and hotel I book, both the cash price and how many credit card points I use. This helps me see how much I save on trips every year. To help keep track of these trips, I use this Excel file here, and in that first column, you can see the location of where I was buying my flight to, and in the cash column, that's how much I would have paid out of pocket if I bought that flight or hotel. And in the points column, that's how many credit card points I used instead. This lets me see if I actually got a good deal or if I felt like I just got a good deal because I used points. Also, it's really fun at the end of the year to see all the trips I took and how much I actually saved. For that last column, that's the cash value of how much those credit card points are worth. And as a side note, in the credit card community, people usually value one credit card point to 1 cent. And the reason they do that is because you're able to cash out your credit card points into an Amazon gift card or a credit statement, usually for 1 cent per point. So an easy way to think about this is that for every 10,000 credit card points you have, that should be equivalent to about $100. So for example, for that DC trip, you can see I spent 15,500 credit card points for a flight, so that's equivalent to $155. I could have used those points for a $155 Amazon gift card. Instead, I decided to use it for the flight that was worth $210 since that meant I was going to get more value out of my points. To see if you're getting a good deal for your points, you can take the cash price and divide it by the number of points that you use. So in my example, I'll take $210 and divide it by 15,500 and you'll get 1.35. And what that means is that each of your points are worth 1.35 cents. And it's a lot better than the Amazon gift card from earlier where you're only getting 1 cent per point. Let's start with the San Diego example. So for this trip, I would have paid $550 for a round trip Delta flight. Instead, I only had to pay 37,000 credit card points or $370. So I was able to get more than 30% off for the flight that I was going to buy anyway. Here's one of my favorite deals that I got last year. When I went to New York, I wanted to splurge on a nicer hotel, so I decided to stay at this Hyatt hotel. Normally, it would cost around $500 per night. Instead, I only had to use 25,000 Hyatt points, so that's basically a 50% discount. And I would never usually book this type of hotel with cash, but because I had points, it made it an easy decision. That's another reason I really like using points. I get to stay at hotels I never usually would. When I added up everything for the entire year, this is what surprised me. In total, for the flights and hotels, it should have cost me $4,500. Instead, I only had to use around 227,000 credit card points. And here's why that matters. Because for the $4,500, I would have expected to use 450,000 credit card points, which is obviously a lot of points and most people don't have. Instead, I only had to use half of that, which means that I was also getting 50% off my flights and hotels throughout the entire year. Even if I could use points instead of cash without getting a great deal, that would be nice. But because I get both, saving money and getting a great deal, this is why I really like using credit card points. It allows me to feel like I don't have to sacrifice traveling or going on trips to save for my other financial goals. The entire year really came down to using two main strategies. The first one is using your Chase points to book Hyatt hotels. You saw this with the New York example, and the reason I like using Hyatt is that it's really easy to find a good deal. You just need to check the dates that you're traveling and see if you're able to use your Hyatt points to book that room. If you want to learn how to use your Chase points for Hyatt hotels, I have a video where I explain that whole process step by step, so I'll leave a link in the description, so feel free to check that out. If it's your first time using credit card points to book flights for hotels, I would recommend using it for hotels first, just because it's a lot easier than using it for flights. The second strategy I used was booking Delta flights through the partners like Air France or Virgin Atlantic. If you fly Delta a lot, this is something you should look into because this can save you thousands of dollars on flights every year. For example, one of the flights I took to Atlanta would have cost 20,000 miles through Delta. Instead, I only had to use 7,500 miles because I booked it through Virgin Atlantic, and it was for the same exact flight that I was going to buy anyway. This is how I was able to save thousands of dollars last year on all my Delta flights. If you want to learn how to use your credit card points to book flights, I created another video that explains that process step by step, so I'll leave a link in the description, so feel free to check that out. This is why I love using credit card points. I don't have to sacrifice travel just to save money, and I actually ended up traveling more because of it. If you like these type of breakdowns and want to learn more about how to get great deals on flights and hotels, then subscribe for more.